Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to the Payoff Pitch presented by Fantasy Phenom. I'm Kyle. That's Mike. Here to break down today's 10-game main slate. Got a couple good games to look forward to. Two games interleague, I believe. So, Washington gains a DL today, a DH. Texas loses theirs, so that could make some pitching matchups a little interesting. We'll get into all that.
The Yanks, too.
That's right. The Yankees continue on the interleague road trip, so they're going to Cincinnati.
Welcome to Payoff Pitch. I think Mondays and Thursdays, obviously, if you guys are kind of getting the hang of it, these are the short slates. A lot of off days on these 2 days, so I don't know if that benefits you or doesn't benefit you, but I think it's something to look for as far as building a trend for, your personal DFS style. But what do you think? You like these short slates better than the long ones, or?
I'm torn, man, because I like the big slates because of so much variance. It gives you a lot more flexibility, but the short slates are really easy to pick for me, especially with the numbers that we have broken down.
Yeah, I think especially with pitchers, too, it's kind of easier to grasp where people are going to go on a shorter slate. And I think it kind of also depends on the short slate. What pitchers are on it? I think today is a nice one. I like today's slate.
Yeah. So I just want to talk. We're really, really close to nailing these. So we have our home run projections on the sheet. We all know about those and how successful they've been. Me and Jeremy have been working around the clock the last couple days, testing these, finding the proper weights and formulas, and I would have never guessed this yesterday, right? So when we were making projections, we were like, Taijuan Walker shouldn't be that high, home run pitcher in Coors, right? We were looking at other guys like Scott Feldman. We're like, he's oddly high in the projections. Tyler Chatwood was oddly high in the projections. We didn't see them as ace pitchers. Zach Davies, didn't see him as having a great game, right? Sure enough, all three of those guys go out and ball. And Scott Feldman was number 1 on our pitcher projection. Tyler Chatwood was 4. Zach Davies was 6.
And those are the guys to have. And now again, it goes to show you. We've been saying it since forever. Like, a good player does not mean a good fantasy player.
Yeah.
It's all about finding the right things to look at. Finding the right stats that really translate into a good DFS performance. And I think that's why it can be kind of difficult when you're looking at pitchers. I think you somehow get caught up in this guy's a great pitcher, but couldn't be maybe not in a good DFS matchup. So I think that's what
that's what we're
they're trying to figure out.
Yeah, we're trying to take logic out of it and just make it numbers. Because I personally, so obviously we played free contests to test them. In my cash games, right, where I put money on the line, I played Danny Duffy, and I questioned the system. Danny Duffy was projected. Now, obviously, he wasn't the second worst pitcher on the slate, but he projected as the second worst pitcher on that slate yesterday, given our formula. And so, I'm sitting there, I'm like, this doesn't, logically, I can't see Danny Duffy as a bad play. Sure enough, man. Mm-hmm. He actually pitched well, but he wasn't a good fantasy play. And that's obviously, like you said. And so we're trying to eliminate any logic that goes into it and just play numbers, man, because that's, at the end of the day, that's what it is. That's what the home run projections are. You have guys on there that you're like, wow, why is he projected so high? And sure enough, he goes and hits a home run. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, I think perhaps in baseball, good fantasy play over a good player factors in more than any other sport, Yep. It's all about the matchups. It's all about the numbers. Take the eye test out of it sometimes and really kind of dig into it. Obviously, there is some to look at, but again, you want the pitchers that are going to give you DFS points, not the pitchers that are going to give you a quality start.
Severino and Lester were 3 and 5, by the way, in that as well. So, everything lined up yesterday. And so an interesting stat, Mike. We talk about how correlative strikeouts are to success in DFS.
Yeah.
fly ball percentage, we're finding, is equally as correlative to success. Not hard contact.
Like a low fly ball percentage.
A low fly ball percentage. Ground ball pitchers are equaling good fantasy plays right now.
Yeah.
Ground ball pitchers have some K upside. Let me reiterate that. There is still K upside. So they are obviously both weighted heavily. But I'm just saying strikeouts, we're learning, are not the only factor to look for anymore. And it's not hard contact. It's not home run per 9. It's fly ball rate.
Mm-hmm. And I think that has a lot to do with going deep into a game. The people that are getting the ball on the ground are doing it by design. They want to do that. Mm-hmm. And by doing that, they're limiting their pitch count, and they're getting deep into a game. And how do you earn points as a pitcher in DFS?
Innings pitched.
Outs.
Yep. And
strikeouts. That's it. So if we can nail that down, I think you're onto something with a fly ball percentage. Finding the pitchers that are efficient and do have some sort of K upside given the matchup. That's where we need to be looking. So all you guys, buy in. Hopefully we're onto something and we can get this down.
Yeah, so if our theory holds true today, we're testing it for one more day. If our theories that me and Jeremy have come up with confirmed, we'll release a beta version of it tomorrow. Now, again, full disclaimer, obviously they're still going to be in testing, but we're going to feel confident enough to release a beta test for you guys, and you can use them with caution. So,
very, very nice. So, any takeaways from yesterday you want to touch on?
Danny Duffy wasn't the play. What else did I have? I don't even remember yesterday. I was so busy. I think I played like $5. I didn't play heavy at all.
Yeah, I try not to play much at work because I know sometimes I end up with people in my lineups that don't end up playing. So I try not to play much especially on Sundays when it's a day game. What about that game? What about the game last night, man? With 18 innings.
Guess how many innings of that game I watched?
Probably
less than 1.
0.
Yep, less than 1.
Guess how many innings of that game I watched?
18.
Yep, that was about right. So that brings me to my next question. Should baseball do something about this?
No.
Should we put runners on base?
No.
Should we have ties?
No, that's a terrible. I've heard that, and I think they're trying it in college, and I think it's the dumbest idea in the world. You start a runner at second base. I hate that. No.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Again, I don't play. I wasn't the Cubs who had to fly to Colorado at 5 a.m, but I don't know. It'd be interesting what the players would think. As a fan, I don't want to do it because I'm going to remember that game. I mean, that's a memorable May game for me. So, yeah, I definitely wouldn't want that. But it's interesting. I think that they're talking about it. I hope that they don't do anything.
Same here, man. I can't do that. I don't know. For me, I know people were outraged at the whole 4-pitch walk thing. I'm fully okay with that. I think it's dumb to throw the pitch anyway. But getting into like putting runners on second base, I can't agree with that. So.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
All right. I know there is a lot of questions surrounding Gio Gonzalez today.
Questions.
I am really, really surprised that Baltimore is favored in this game. Now, it's not a lot. Obviously, the implied run totals are right there. But they're favored, and we know their struggles versus lefties this year. So, what are your thoughts on Gio?
Numbers speak to the questions, right? That's the reason it's coming behind it. He's having a good year. He's proven that he can be this pitcher. And I think it kind of comes down to this matchup. Baltimore does not hit lefties well, especially decent lefties. The numbers will show you. I mean, I'll go through it. They have a 29% K rate versus lefties, bottom 10 in ISO and WOBA, which is saying something for a good hitting team. They're middle of the pack in hard contact and like a home run for fly ball rate. If you look at last 7 days versus lefties, Baltimore's going to look bad. But if you look at who they played, I'm pretty sure Chris Sale was in there. So I don't really want to even look at those stats for last 7 versus lefties. But over the course of the season, there has been a trend that they play righties rather than lefties, and Gonzalez has been playing well. Do you think he's due for some regression? I mean, there's some big righty bats in this lineup.
There are, but I think some of the numbers make sense. So we know Mark Trumbo typically is a reverse split guy. He usually hits righties better than lefties, but obviously he's still an elite power threat. You have Machado, Mancini, obviously. So there is some concern, but you talk about pitchers that pitch to ground balls. Gio is one of them. Gio does not give up home runs. Elite versus lefties. He averages a home run every 45 innings to lefties. One home run every 45 innings to lefty bats.
No, I did notice that. And again, we're talking about these fly balls. We're talking about finesse pitcher. He's a finesse pitcher with upside. He's not like a new guy coming up. He knows what he's doing out there, and if he's in a groove like he is now in a positive matchup, it's seemingly a better play than anybody else around his price.
Yeah, I'm actually okay with it, and I think a lot of people are going to be off him today. I think the obvious chalk pitchers I've gathered so far are Jacob deGrom, and Jacob deGrom was a good play before Scott Feldman happened, but when people see that Scott Feldman went out and pitched a complete game, 4-hit shutout on the Giants, plenty of people are going to see that and be like, well, why can't deGrom do that? So, absolutely chalky, highest pitch on the slate. You add those two together, he should get a lot of ownership. And then the other guy's going to be Trevor Cahill, from what I'm hearing. So I see Gio being low owned. It is a hitter's ballpark. It's one of the best in the game. Temperature's decent. Wind, not really a huge factor. So I'm okay with the play. I am. And I think Gio has enough K upside with a team that strikes out quite a bit that you can, if he doesn't give up that home run, I think he can be a good play.
Yeah, no, I agree. Again, we talked about the guy that can hit his spots when he's on, and he has K upside. It does come with some risk. Again, playing Baltimore is not always a lock. So this is the time to go after them, though. And I can't get behind this play because I think people will talk themselves out of it playing against Baltimore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Wait, we didn't talk about any bats. You're not going any bats there? Just Gio. Nobody. No, I think the Nats are in play. There's no Trey Turner, but Zimmerman obviously just destroying the baseball right now. Very strange enough.
I think if you see a Nats stack, Defoe is going to be in almost all of them. I expect him to be really, really chalky today. He's cheap. He's going to allow you to pair, a ton of higher-priced bats with a Jacob deGrom. And so I expect Defoe at the top of a Nats lineup that's going to score some runs to probably be some chalk today.
Yeah, I think you could pick and choose in this lineup, too. I think Matt Wieters is okay. I like, obviously, Zimmerman and Harper and Murphy, go without saying. Rendon is interesting, but there's a lot of third base options today. I can definitely get behind a Nats stack.
Yeah, I like Defoe, I like Harper, I like Zimmerman, I like Murphy. I like Rendon as well, but I think I'll pay down to get Defoe at the top of the lineup behind or in front of some bats that are going to drive him in.
Yeah, and if you look at last 4 games, for Gausman, he's given up 6 homers, a total of 20 earned runs in 4 games. Yeah, so
I'm on a Nats stack.
Obviously he got thrown out of that last game, but still, I think you could go there.
Cleveland, Toronto, obviously in a dome, so no weather effects to be concerned about.
Mm-hmm.
Marcus Stroman, we talk about ground ball pitchers, man. This is the best ground ball pitcher on the slate. In a hitter's ballpark, he needs to, that gives him an advantage. And then Trevor Bauer, kind of the opposite, man. He has some hard contact against him. Higher fly ball rate, gives up some home runs. However, Bauer's K potential, Stroman, not nearly as much. So, do you look at either of the two pitchers and, knowing those facts, do you pick either side of these stacks?
Yeah, the run total on the money line favors Stroman and the Blue Jays, mm-hmm. which, interesting to me against Cleveland. I think that kind of shifted my focus as if I wanted to play Stroman or not. Obviously, you mentioned the fly ball. The K upside comes with him. He's somewhat up and down. And this is a good lineup. They've shifted a little bit. There's no Brantley. They brought Kipnis up to the 3-hole to try to get his bat going. Yandy Diaz was called up from AAA after batting 400 in like a week down there. I saw something about Jose Ramirez getting hurt, but I guess not. He's in the lineup. And then you got Encarnacion coming back to Toronto. So not really something I generally like to go after, but I think the Vegas numbers are definitely making it more interesting to me. What about you?
I don't see Stroman getting high ownership at all today. And so from a contrarian standpoint, I can get behind it. I think he's actually he's like one of the tops in innings pitched this year. He's been extremely efficient. I believe he had like a 95 pitch complete game earlier this year. You talk about efficiency.
Yeah, and you factor in they started a reliever yesterday in Biagini, so obviously bullpen needing some rest. Maybe they give him a little extra run regardless. Mm-hmm. I can see it, man. And then again, on the other side, I think you can go after Bauer. I think you pick and choose here. I don't know that I'm going to stack. I think obviously the big lefties in the middle are the guys you'd go after.
Yeah, I think I'm on Batista and Smoke myself. I like Smoke more than Morales, but both are obviously. I mean, they're almost 1A and 1B in terms of their numbers. It's almost identical across the board.
What's up with Luke Maile?
Russell Martin's on the DL.
You got put on the DL?
Yes, sir.
All right, good to know.
Catch or punt if you want it.
Yeah, see what he does. See if he makes the most of this opportunity.
So yeah, I'm on. I like a Batista and Smoke stack myself. Just a 2-man against Bauer. This isn't my favorite game to target, but like I said, I do like Stroman for that reason. I'm not excited about Cleveland bats. So I think on a 10-game slate, that's a fade for me with other options to go to.
Someone's asking about if Stroman makes more sense on DraftKings. I think when you have to have two pitchers, I guess if you wanted to pay up at 2, I think you could find he definitely is in that category of. I think there's probably 5. I think you can make the case for the top 5 players in salary today on DraftKings. So,
what are your thoughts on fading? So I think you'll see. I think on DraftKings, absolutely. I would not be surprised if 50% of lineups have a DeGrom Cahill combo.
That's going to be the cash lineup today, yeah.
So what are your thoughts on a Stroman Gio lineup or pitching?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know the ownership's going to be that heavy in tournaments. I mean, Cahill's price skyrocketed from $5K to $7,600 after that one start against Colorado. But yeah, I do agree. That's going to be the cash there. I think it'll be down to probably more like 30-30 in GPPs, but still, that's the ownership, right? So I do agree. I think Ian Tanaka. I talk about Tanaka on 6 days rest. I guess we'll get there, but I think no one's going to be on him.
I'm sorry, Mike. I'm stacking Cincy.
No, I don't mind Cincinnati. I think again, I'm definitely not playing Tanaka, but I only consider it when he's got 6 days rest.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not a DraftKings player, but and that could flaw my logic here. But I'm not opposed to a Stroman Gio combo.
Yeah, paying up there.
I really I don't think it'll be high owned at all. I don't think either guy will be high owned, and for that reason, kind of like it, man.
Yeah, no. Right now I was toying with DeGrom and Carnes, and then I had Gio and Martinez, but I could go Stroman and Gio. As well. I like to. I'm only playing 3 lineups, so I'd like to have the same pitchers in all 3 of my lineups.
That makes sense.
And differentiate my stacks because I think I'm losing money if I don't. It's a sink or swim strategy, but generally, if both those pitchers do well, place them in the top 5 of pitchers on DraftKings,
you're set.
All 3 of your lineups will cash to some extent depending on where your stacks are.
Yeah, absolutely. Otherwise, it's all. I mean, you got to kind of pick and choose. Are you hedging against yourself, or are you, kind of an all-in approach?
Sink or swim, yeah.
Yeah. All right, New York and Cincinnati. Rookie Davis back on the hill. Guy's been awful this year. But then somehow goes out and shuts down the Pirates. Whatever. No Aaron Judge today for the Yankees. Not a ton of green in this Yankee lineup, man. So something's got to give, obviously. You got a lot of red in rookie. You got a lot of red in New York, minus a couple guys. Gary Sanchez is a switch hitter, isn't he?
He's ready.
He is ready? Okay. Oh, I didn't think he was a switch hitter. And then
Aaron Hicks is a switch hitter.
He is, yeah, and he's lefty. That makes sense. I don't know. What do you like in this game? Yeah, go ahead.
Tanaka gives up the home runs. He's in a home run park. I could see going there again. You look at the last time Tanaka had 6 more days rest. He complete game shutout the Red Sox in Fenway. The numbers don't lie with that. So I don't like it in this hitter's park against a streaking Cincinnati team with a Yankees team that flew into Cincinnati after the 18-inning game. I don't think Tanaka's the play. I mean, creatures of habit, right?
Yep.
So on the other side, I don't really want to play the Yankee bats either for the same reason. I think you can play Aaron Hicks. I don't trust that red there. The dude just playing really well. There's a reason Aaron Judge is in the lineup today, and it's Aaron Hicks. They just want to keep his bat going. Him and Gardner. I think all 4 of these outfielders are just surprising. All the Yankee fans, I know that.
Yeah.
Matt Holliday, he doesn't play first. He's played first base once this year. That was yesterday. He's playing it again today. Maybe that affects him. I don't know. He only played 9 games at first base in St. Louis last year.
I think they're just trying to find some sort of solution for Chris Carter, who's been struggling, and you want to get the outfielders in this lineup, right?
Well, he's the DH for this team, and it's in the National League game, so they just want...
No, I know. But
there's no Greg Bird, so they have to do something. Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. But you got, obviously, Chris Carter, Matt Holliday. You're going to try and, if there's a...
get his bat in line.
If there's a position that you can kind of sacrifice at, it is first base. You notice that's usually the team's... I don't want to say worst defender, because there are quite a few that diminishes the position and some of the gold gloves you get from there, but it's definitely the position that teams will throw I want to get this guy in a lineup. Jay Bruce, for example.
Especially Girardi. He's played pitchers at first base to keep him in the game this season. Seriously. I think Austin Romine played 4 innings at first base last night, actually. So I don't know that I'm going to go after it. You notice there's no Starlin Castro in this lineup as well. Ronald Torreyes will be playing second base. So big shift here. I think if I was going to play Yanks, it'd be Sanchez and Hicks. Sanchez had pretty good plate discipline yesterday, and Hicks is on fire.
Yeah, I'm on Sanchez, man. He's a one-off for me. I'm not stacking the Yankees, ironically, against Ricky Davis. I can see Holliday. I can see Hicks if you want to go there. Sanchez if you want to make a stack. Maybe Headley. So I guess you can find a 4-man stack, but it's not my favorite. And for that reason, I'm not going to do it. But Sanchez is my one-off.
Makes sense, too, if this wasn't, if you looked at the narrative, didn't look at the narrative against Ricky Davis in a hitter's park, it makes sense to play one of the hottest hitting teams in baseball, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't mind it. I think there's definitely going to be some home runs hit off the Cincinnati side, and Tanaka definitely gives up the long ball, so I don't know if I stacked there. I think you can try and pick 1 or 2. I think if I had to pick, go with the obvious choices, right? I think Duvall and Votto.
Yeah, and I don't know if you can. If you're gonna stack Cincy, I think Billy Hamilton at this point has to be in that stack, man.
Yeah, no, he's not really a one-off kind of guy.
Yeah, if he gets on and steals, then yeah, he can get you 18 points in 1 at bat, but on FanDuel. But for me personally, I've made the mistake already a couple times this year where if I'm if I'm stacking Cincinnati, I haven't put Billy in that lineup, and I feel like at this point it's just dumb to do that approach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. You got to stack. You got to have Hamilton in your stack for sure.
So, but I can get behind. I love Votto, Hitters Park, Duvall. I think obviously, again, you look at the usual suspects. I kind of like a Hamilton, Votto, Duvall, Schebler stack. I know that takes up your entire outfield, but if you're gonna 4-man stack it, I can get behind it.
You got Barnhart, lefty, righty. Maybe that's a punt. I don't know. It's the top of the list, but
yeah, true, my friend. Giants and Mets. Mets killed everybody yesterday. They were getting no hit by Jose Urena, who, by the way, no numbers. For those of you wondering, no numbers told you that was a good play. So don't be alarmed. His career numbers have never been good. He's a relief pitcher making a spot start. But that's the Mets' story this entire year, is hot and cold. And in an instant. They don't have a gradual decline. It's just off like that.
Yeah, we talk about the Mets for a second, just because this is what's happening, man. I don't know what's happening. I feel somewhat bad for this team, but at the same time, it's just somewhat it's like a Bronx Zoo situation, you know. They have the best pitching staff in the majors, but they just can't control them. They purposely get them hurt. It's sad. It really is, man. Yesterday, I don't know what happened. The Mets just didn't show up to the ballpark. You said hot and cold with them. Then you had the game the other day where
they blow up.
Well, didn't the Marlins jump out to a big lead and then they came back and won the game?
That's what I'm saying.
That was like the first game of the series. Like, right, you know. And then it's just, can't you just build on like some momentum? Or I don't know. It sucks. But they got DeGrom on the hill. I think they're hopeful that it turns it around. I don't see that this is a great game as far as run support for DeGrom against the lefty. If you buy into that for when you're picking your pitcher. Obviously, Conforto and Bruce in particular do not hit lefties as well as righties, especially Jay Bruce. Flores, I think, is the bright spot, and they rightfully put him in the middle of the order against the lefty. I think Matt Moore is somewhat worthy target. Any Flores, Walker, two-man love?
I think you got to look at Flores, man. If you want a one-off, cheap one-off third base, I think you look at Flores. Stacking the Mets, no thank you. I think Rene Rivera is a cheap cheap catcher punt. Like I said, I think DeGrom is chalk. I don't think he's bad chalk. Reason being, I don't see any Giants worth stacking against him. This Giants lineup is so bad right now. We just, as a team, there's nothing to say.
Yeah, what's going on, man?
Dude, what
is your theory?
They're just bad. They're bad as a team right now. There is no answer.
I mean, what do they look like at the plate, though? They just kind of look like they're just walking back with their heads and tail between their legs?
They're lost. This team has done this before in the past, too. They'll have a month where they're legit just cold as an entire team. It's not a couple batters. But then they have their runs at the end of the year where the entire team is hitting. I don't know what it is. I don't know how to explain it. It's just the Giants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, a lot of numbers point to DeGrom today because of what the Giants have been doing. I think their ISO over the last 7 days versus righties is under 100.
Yeah, it's bad.
Dead last in WOBA and ISO over the last 7 days. Bottom 5 over the course of the season versus righties. Second highest K percentage versus righties this season.
You talk about a team that doesn't, historically, over the last couple of years, they haven't struck out a ton. They are striking out, I believe, 6% higher than the league average right now over the last 7 days.
Right.
So
this is a plus matchup for DeGrom, don't you think?
Absolutely. I think he's worthy of chalk. Again, it's who I am. I'm not gonna try and talk you off of Jacob DeGrom. I won't play him though. It's just my strategy. I'm gonna find another pitcher, pay down a little bit, find some different bats, and it's my contrarian strategy. It's a tournament strategy. It's what I do, but I'm not gonna talk you off of DeGrom.
I think on DraftKings it's a little bit different. If I had to pick one pitcher, I think I agree with you, but it's hard to find two pitchers on DraftKings that I feel most comfortable getting 7 innings, 10 Ks, right? Mm-hmm. Now, the Giants, like you said, struggling as a complete team. All the team numbers show it. This offense is not going to be dead last in offensive categories all season long. So there's going to eventually be a team, and I think if you want to pick out the Mets, I think everybody else in the world really is. So maybe.
Like I said,
I don't like the hitters in either of this game. I think DeGrom is in play, obviously.
I think you can look at TJ Rivera, Wilmer Flores, and Rene Rivera. And obviously you can't play Wilmer Flores and TJ Rivera, so you pick one. I go Flores personally. Other than that, I'm not.
Let me see if there's multiple position.
Oh yeah, on FanDuel obviously. So that's where I'd go. Again, I'm not touching Giants. Maybe Brandon Belt is a one-off. He has good numbers, but DeGrom I think is, DeGrom.
Both Flores and Rivera are first base eligible as well.
Okay, so you can play both.
Which,
if you want to stack there. Nathan Carnes.
Super cheap.
And Blake Snell. Snell is a guy that is getting quite a bit of talk, at least among our community.
Chatter.
Yeah, I don't know how much. I haven't seen him as much on the other shows, but I've seen him talked about in our community, and so we'll address that. Nathan Carnes is a guy that I can get behind today, and he's my pivot off of Trevor Cahill. Just as much K upside. I know there is a little more risk involved with him. Cahill's an elite ground ball pitcher. Carnes not so much. Carnes gives up more home runs, about twice as many. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll kind of touch on Snell first. This kid is having, in my opinion, a subpar year. Look at his numbers here. As far as the DFS numbers, there really hasn't been anything to really love about him. He's not been very bad either. So against the Kansas City Royals, I think that's why we're hearing some chatter. The Royals as a team are just struggling mightily.
Yeah, they're bad.
Snell, highest DraftKings performance came last game against Miami. He had 19.9 DraftKings points, which is, if he got 19.9 today, I don't think I would be happy. And that was his best start of the season out of 6 starts. Yeah, again, the matchup makes sense, but I think you can say the same thing about Carnes going against Tampa Bay. As a righty against Tampa Bay, he does somewhat limit lefties, it looks like, from these numbers. But this guy battled for the spot in Kansas City, got that 5th starter role, and he's been playing pretty well. He's coming off its best start of the season, if not his career. And I think Tampa Bay has the DFS profile to make him a worthy pivot, like you said, off Cahill. Carnes is actually $400 cheaper than Cahill today on DraftKings.
So incentive there, yeah. So real quick on Snell, because when doing our pitcher projections, Jeremy and I were talking about this. What always made Snell such an intriguing play was his strikeout upside, right? We've always seen him as a strikeout pitcher. Like, he may give up some walks and runs, but the Ks are what keeps him in that game. He is severely regressed in terms of strikeouts this year. I mean, you can see 2017, striking out at a clip of only 19%, lower than every other scenario. Can that go back up? Yeah, but it's worrisome when you look at it. His fly ball rate has increased. His home run rate has increased. His hard contact rate, about the same. But the strikeouts are way down, and that's really, really concerning for me.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree with you. I think, obviously, this is a young pitcher. He's only pitched one. I don't even think he's pitched a full season in the majors, right?
No. I mean, so obviously it is a small sample size, but...
So I don't know that I can consider him really a strikeout pitcher, is what I'm trying to say. I guess in the minors, he was an elite strikeout pitcher, but in the majors, it hasn't really proven translate. I mean, he's got a walk per 9 over 6 this year. I mean, and again, it just really hasn't had that standout performance yet. Could tonight be the night? Maybe against a struggling team, but Kansas City doesn't really strike out much as a team either. They tend to just hit the ball into the dirt. That's what's going on with them.
Yeah, I don't know. I like Carnes more than Snell, but I can see why people are on Snell with Kansas City struggles. So it's not my least favorite play. It's just, like I said, there's a lot of alarming news for me. I will say, on a baseline score, Snell was very middle of the pack, and when we factored in the Kansas City offense and how, obviously rating the opponent, Snell did bump into the top 30% of pitchers on tonight's slate. Again, It depends how much, obviously it's all in testing, but just for what it's worth.
Wait, let's talk hitters.
Damn it, I keep forgetting.
Just hyper-focused on them pitchers. I feel you. That's how it should be, though. I think you should spend 75-25 pitchers to batter research, in my opinion. Now, Kansas City, obviously Jorge Soler making his 3rd appearance this year, coming off the DL. Dude's got some pop in his bat. He doesn't have a hit yet, no. Dude's got some pop in his bat. They got him in the middle of the order. They need him to show something. Righty-lefty matchup. Snell does give up the long ball to some righties. Perhaps he's a cheap one-off today. I'll plant some flag there, but other than that, I don't know that you can really buy into any. Maybe some Sal Perez, but his price hasn't really dropped enough. And then on the other side of this, I think we talked up Carnes enough to really kind of pick and choose.
I'm not on the Rays personally.
Obviously, it's a righty, so you see the Lomo shift. It's what's going on with Morrison and Weeks seemingly trading off based on handedness.
That's exactly where I'd go, dude. As always, I will say that obviously Carnes is a reverse split guy for what it's worth. Struggles more versus righties. And I don't like the righties in this lineup, so it's an even easier pick for me. But Morrison and Corey Dickerson are still elite left-handed hitting bats in terms of power. So if you want to go there and stack against Carnes, which again I don't advise, I would go there even with the reverse splits.
You know, man, I don't really like watching Tampa Bay games in Tampa Bay. It just seems so gray and sad, you know? Like, I feel like they need to have some, like, lights in that building. You ever get that feeling?
I can't say I watch a lot of Tampa Bay games.
I don't know. It just seems very dismal in there. They need some color and some lights.
They need to get rid of that damn catwalk that knocks all the balls down.
Well, I think that kind of holds the roof up, so...
Find another strategy.
Do like an outdoor, like, suspending support system. I've seen those weird looking buildings.
I think they're gonna have to need a new stadium, but I don't think they have money for that.
I'm just gonna have to bite the bullet there. They still got Evan Longoria though, who could be a good play today, maybe.
Are you on him? I'm not on him.
I don't know. There's a lot of third basemen today, so no.
Really like this A's lineup that just came in. That's what I was just.
I like the A's today.
Yeah, so I like Carnes. Now this is my favorite pitcher of the day right now, and nobody is talking about him. And that's that's Carlos Martinez. Vegas also favors St. Louis, even though Miami's been hot. That's more reassuring for me personally. So I'm on there, and I really like these right-handed bats on St. Louis, man. Grichuk, elite power guy versus lefties. Gallardo and Diaz. I can get, and even Tommy Pham. Tommy Pham in limited time, last year and this year, has shown a lot of upside.
Those are the three guys I was on. I think negative park shift, but still, I mean, Conley's given up the long ball, I think, enough this season to make me like that 3-man as well. Those are the three guys I was on. Yep. The Jags be killing them. Also agrees, man. Rays games are not fun to go to. So
the dome kills it. There you go.
It does, man. Maybe we should send them a letter and be like, but they're gonna read it and be like, damn it, we already know this, and throw it. Anyway. Yeah, I like those righties. I agree. The bats have woken up for the Miami. We got a new lineup here. Yelich up in the 2-hole, Ozuna at 3, and Bohr at 5. I like it. I think it makes a lot of sense. I know you're on Martinez, so you probably didn't think that, but...
I'm not trust me, the lineup has been hot. I get it. Martinez, surprisingly, however, because of the Marlins, I believe it's their strikeout rate. Let me get the actual numbers for you, because I want to make sure I know what I'm talking about. Miami. Where they at? They're top 10, but... No, they're striking out. Okay, so no, it was the reverse way. Martinez dropped when compared to the opponents. But, I don't know, man. There's some strikeout potential there still. I know Stanton's hot as can be right now, so that's worrisome. That 4 or 5 hole is what worries me with the Marlins, but I think if Martinez can get around that, I think he's going to be in for a nice day.
My take on Martinez is he's a GPP play because if you watch his stuff, it's electric, man. He has some electric stuff, and his only real issue is command. So if he is commanding his stuff, he's near unhittable when he's on, man. So that's why I feel like he's always going to be a GPP play because he can go out if he's commanding his stuff and really ball. Curious if he's on some extra rest too. I know the Cardinals over the last time through the rotation had a couple of rain delays or rain outs. So be interesting to see if maybe he's got an extra day of rest. I don't know that factors in, but
whether that'll help him at all. Yeah, no, absolutely. It's worth looking at. Like I said, he's my favorite pitcher. He's scoring really, really well on the sheet, and I didn't trust it yesterday. I'm going to trust it today and play him in money games. So we'll see how it works out for me.
Mm-hmm. So Connor just said there's a lot. I said there's a lot of third base plays. I actually have 12 written down today. Elite one-off plays, I think. Jorko, Flores, what else do I think is an elite one-off? Schimpf at third base. He's third base on DraftKings at least. I think he's second base on FanDuel. Obviously, the guy's got 8 home runs and a batting average under 120, but I like his spot. So they're all cheap guys.
I think Wilmer Flores is my favorite third base one-off. I'm playing Justin Turner, however, because he fits that stack.
Yeah. No, I like the Dodger stack too. I guess we'll get there.
So, yeah, man, like I said, so Grichuk, Gallardo, Diaz with Martinez. That's a GPP line for me. And then Adam Conley, I'm going to obviously attack him, not playing him. And if you want to attack Carlos Martinez, Stanton and Bohr, those two guys to do it in my opinion. Maybe Yelich as well.
I agree. Stanton and Bohr.
This game has a lot of weather concern in it. It's actually a lower implied total than we're used to in Coors. 10.5 is low for them. And I think it obviously has a lot to do with Jake Arrieta. But this is very, very surprising, Mike.
What?
I expected Chicago. Actually, no. This actually might make sense with the game they played yesterday. I expected them to be higher favorites against Colorado and Senzatella. But for what it's worth, Senzatella is very much a ground ball pitcher. Doesn't give up hard contact, but doesn't strike people out. So DFS play, not so much. He actually scored second worst on our projection. But Arrieta is a guy that has shown some serious regression compared to his last couple of years. I mean, you have 2017 down here, giving up 1.5 home runs per 9. Went from under 35% fly ball rate to over. He's jumped about 10 points. Jumped about 10 points in hard contact. Ks have remained the same. WOBA against him has also jumped about 100 points.
Yeah, I mean, neither of us have really bought into the Arrieta thing, I don't think. Now, got to be a lot to say. I think there's a lot to say about this team playing 18 innings yesterday and then having to fly to Denver.
That's what I'm saying. I think had that not happened, you would see a little more favoritism for Chicago, but I forgot about that, and when I factored in, it makes sense. So I can get behind the fact.
Arrieta pinch hit yesterday, by the way.
I saw that.
Also, I saw Rizzo got hit by a
pitch on his forearm.
Chapman fastball, like right to the bone, man. And he was holding it the rest of the game. I thought for sure it might have been like a fracture. I think X-rays were negative, but it was obviously some obvious discomfort. Factor that in with the fact that he's just been struggling lately anyway.
They might say. Yeah, we don't have the lineup yet, ironically. We have later lineups, but not this one, so.
Even if they sit him, I'm going to sit him as far as looking at him. And they think really, I don't know, that'll be on the Cubs. But then again, I don't know if anybody's going to be on the Cubs because of this. So I think Schwarber could be a good one-off for that reason as a contrarian play if this game actually does play.
I was going to say major concern with weather. So from a pitcher standpoint, going to be pure GPP. But Arrieta does have K upside. So, if you get him and he plays a full game, some of the other guys struggle. Hayward and Russell aren't playing. Cubs came out a while ago.
Hayward's still hurt. Still hurt.
How do I not have the Cubs lineup?
Again, they pinch hit Hendricks, Arrieta, and Lackey before they pinch hit Hayward. And they didn't play Hayward at all. So that to me was a sign that Hayward definitely wasn't playing today.
I do have it right here.
I think it's just funny that our chat's still talking about this Rays stadium, man. Nothing about it seems to be being a stadium for the people. So shame on the designers for that stadium.
Rizzo's playing.
Not bringing quality baseball. Yeah, again, the X-rays came back negative, so.
Tommy La Stella, Javier Baez, Arrieta, and...
Seems like, I bet you Tommy La Stella was a AAA move. I don't know that I've seen that name. I imagine they had to make some roster moves after last night's game. Same with the Yanks. I'm sure they had to make some roster moves for the bullpen at least. Yeah, again, I think it's contrarian play to go anywhere in this game. I think, obviously, with the weather concern, the 18-inning game, I think, again, I like Schwarber as a one-off, just with the ownership down.
Yeah, I find myself fading this game, personally. There's just from weather concerns, and there's not a lot to like. I don't necessarily want to attack Arrieta, but I don't want to roster him. So I fade the Colorado side. And then the Chicago bats. So LA and Oakland. Ricky Nolasco, Kendall Graveman. Neither of these guys have had fantastic starts to the year. Nolasco's actually had a really, really bad start to the year. 370 WOBA against him, 2.5 home runs per 9, almost a 50% fly ball rate. I love me an Oakland stack today, and this lineup is confirmed, by the way.
Yeah, just to translate those numbers a little easier, Ricky Nolasco has given up 9 home runs in 6 starts.
Wow.
So, I imagine there's 2 more coming today. I mean, ironically, the only game he did not give up a home run was against Oakland. So, I don't know. I still think you can elite one off in Chris Davis and stack here if you wanted to. I like Matt Joyce, too, cheap, if he does indeed get the start. Obviously, hit the ball in the air. Just matched up with the pitcher. Tends to agree with him.
Yeah, buddy. Let me try to find...
You can get him for $2,400 on DraftKings.
Matt Joyce?
Yeah, obviously a home run or bust type of play, but super cheap.
Yeah, I'm on...
playing a fly ball pitcher.
I love me some Adam Rosales today.
Yeah, I think Adam Rosales is more of a stack.
Yep. Well, I have an Oakland stack. So I love an Oakland stack. I'm all over Davis.
Is Joyce leading off?
He is.
I like that 1, 2, 3, man.
This is the confirmed lineup, and I believe Colorado, yeah, it's confirmed as well. Okay. I love me some Davis, Healy, Rosales, and Adam Joyce.
I like that 1 through 3, man. Jed Lowry on a bit of a hitting streak. He has at least 9 DraftKings points in the last 4 games. I'd want to see what side he's better at as far as power, because he's a switch hitter. Mm-hmm. Before I made that roster decision. Actually, let's look it up for you. If you want to continue to talk, I'll
okay.
Look that up.
I don't think I necessarily want to attack Kendall Graveman with this lineup. This is bad, man. Without Mike Trout in there, where do you go? A pitcher's park. Almost a AAA lineup.
I would be surprised if they go the over on this.
For what it's worth, that doesn't make me want to play Graveman because his K potential is low, but he is more of a ground ball pitcher. So we're talking about fly balls having a really big impact. But yeah, there's not a lot for me to like here, man. On the Angels side.
Yeah.
I think I want to attack Nolasco and leave the Angels alone.
So Lowry versus righties, 317, 2 homers, 7 doubles versus lefties, 222 with 1 double and no homer. So better as a lefty, it looks like.
Okay.
There's that.
I can get behind a 1 through 4, actually. I mean, you can play Alonso, who's been hot.
Yeah, no, I think it's a cheap way to go. Again, there's definitely you got the matchup with the fly balls and the home runs that this dude's been giving up as of late.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a bad day, it looks like. Blowing out a little bit center, 64 degrees, so. Yeah, I don't know. I'll get behind it.
All right, we got Nick Martinez and Trevor Cahill. Again, we mentioned Cahill is chalk. He does project really, really well today. I mean, He's always had elite ground ball stuff, right? He is giving up more hard contact than he has, over the past couple years. But his home runs per nine are down. His K percentage is way up. He's almost at 37% strikeout percentage this year.
And we talk about strikeout percentage being so predictive over the course of time that, to me, that has to go down. If he wasn't a strikeout pitcher in the past, I don't see him all of a sudden becoming a strikeout pitcher now. Well, that's just me.
I mean, over the last 2 years, he's averaged 26% strikeouts. So I wouldn't necessarily say that he hasn't been a strikeout pitcher. I mean, 25% is no slouch.
Yeah, no, definitely not. So, yeah, again, that's what I'm just trying to say. Strikeouts just are definitely a stat that there's regression in,
Absolutely.
Hard contact, I think, was the reason I decided not to play Cahill, actually. I looked at, he is giving up a 40% hard contact rate, if I'm not mistaken, this season. Is that what that says there?
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at Texas versus righties as a team is a top 10 in hard contact rate. 33%, I think they're 8th versus righties as a team. So, couple those two together, I think those kind of multiply in a sense. Now, I think the reason he's chalk is that Texas has been striking out a ton versus righties.
30% over the last 7 years.
So, I mean, I don't know. We always talk about, is a guy deserving of chalk? If not, just fade it. I could easily see 10 strikeouts for Cahill. I could also see 10 hard hit balls for Cahill.
So there's a lot of factors on why Cahill is chalk. Pitcher's ballpark. Texas is losing an offensive player, right? They got to have a pitcher in the lineup. And they're striking out a ton. Cahill's strikeouts are up. I mean, everything is pointing to Cahill being a great play. Again,
I'll tell you though, that hard contact is
it's worrisome.
It's worrisome. It is, man. Especially when you look at the flip side, and Texas still has good offensive numbers as a team versus righties. It's just they've been striking out a ton.
Here is an interesting stat, Mike. Ground balls that are hit hard get more hits than fly balls that are hit hard.
Absolutely.
So that, I think there's luck involved in that, things like that. But just for what it's worth, Texas has a very potent lineup. So we talk about, if Cahill's chalk, can we fade? Can we fade and can we stock against?
Is he worthy?
Exactly. I was on Cahill, I'm not going to lie, before I heard he was chalk. When I keep hearing his name come up, I'm going to flip my script. I'm going to get off of him. That's why I talked about going to Carnes. And then I'm going to immediately look at Texas. Gallo, Odor, no Mazzara. I kind of look at Lucroy. The Shield's leading off. I like that. I can still get behind Andrus. There is still a ton of power in this lineup, man. So I have zero problem stacking against Cahill today with the hopes that he gets blown up and go from there.
Yeah, so I'm trying to look up his BABIP. So like you said, if he's getting hit hard and most of it's probably on the ground, if you look at his fly ball percentage, if he's got a really low BABIP, that could just be saying all of his hard hit balls have been going to, a fielder. So let's see what that's at if I ever really get the chance to have this load. But yeah, again, like I said, like we've been saying all along, if a guy's not really worthy of chalk as a pitcher, it's an easy fade for me. Again, we could both see it going either way today. Pitcher's Park and playing well, strikeouts up, both sides of the matchup. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't hate a Cahill play. He's cheap enough on FanDuel at least to where, I think he could be chalk. I think he's not necessarily, I don't want to say deserving, but not a bad play. But if he's chalk, I want to stack against him. It's just my nature. And so give me some Texas bats, man. Odor, Gallo for sure. Odor and Gallo for sure. Lefty power bats. And then I'll take me some Andrus or Gomez to fit that. Maybe DeShields.
So they lost Mazzara today, too, it looks like.
Yep, he's out today. Which I would have loved to pair him with Gallo and Odor. But such is life. You can get behind Shin Soo Choo as well. Down at 8. I can get behind that if you want to do a wrap stack. So things to like. Actually, before we move on, San Diego is projecting, for some nice power stats against Nick Martinez, who's giving up, again, 2.5 home runs per 9. Not a strikeout pitcher at all, giving up home runs, some things to like there. But San Diego's so worrisome, man.
Pick and choose your home run bats.
Yep.
Hedges, Schimpf, Myers, Renfroe.
Exactly.
Solarte hits the ball hard, but usually he's kind of a line drive hitter. So I thought about a stack there, but I'd rather just one off and try to get a bomb.
Agree. Oakland's my favorite stack so far. Oakland and Washington.
I like Oakland a lot too.
The lineup does not scare me outside Texas, and without Nomar, even better. No, I agree. I mean, like I said, a lot of things point to Cahill. Not against it at all. Let me grab this lineup that came in.
Yep, I like Hedges. Again, someone's mentioned him. I think
Hedges for a punt
talks about most of his home run. This guy gives up the ball, long ball. Yeah, Martinez is not a good pitcher, man. Surprised he's still in that rotation.
Nick Martinez.
Right, Nick Martinez. In regards to the Hedges call.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, look, I have a feeling the Dodgers are going to be really popular today.
I love the Dodgers, man. I really do.
I originally thought, I was like, all right, so I was going to just... I was thinking about stacking here, but then I was like, I think this probably had the most ownership is probably this lineup, so maybe I'll just one off the highest owned guy type thing. That's what I was thinking, at least.
So I think I'm on Seager, I'm on Turner, I'm on Bellinger, man. 2, 3.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, and even Peterson down at 5, I can get behind it. And here's a guy.
Grandal.
Here's a guy that is, I don't know how high owned he'll be, but I really like him as another pivot to Cahill, especially in the late slate. So if you're just playing that late slate, right, Cahill I think will get almost all of the ownership, because if he was chalk and main, take DeGrom off that slate, then you got all Cahill. Alex Wood, I think, is a very intriguing play. We talk about a guy, he has almost just as much K upside as Cahill. Hard contact is lower. Fly balls around the same. Less home runs per 9. I mean, there's a lot of merit to an Alex Wood play today.
Totally agree. I totally agree with you, man. I'm looking at the bats that I would play. I think Josh Harrison and McCutcheon are the only two guys I really want to play. So I could see that. That's a late slate thing, but doesn't fit like my favorite 3-man stacks there. And then, yeah, again with the Dodgers lineup, I like a lot. I like almost the whole thing. So another reason to play. Look at the difference in implied run totals today in this game. I mean, Vegas tends to agree with us. It looks like a nice hitting game. I don't know. I'm curious to see how chalky this is.
Yeah, I'm interested as well, especially because it's a late game. But I love me a Dodger stack. But almost all my stacks, so I have one lineup made already, and it is a Dodgers stack and a stack with Gary Sanchez and Tommy Pham as one-offs. Other than that, so 6 of my 8 batters are in the late slate. Yeah, the one thing Jose says, Alex Wood doesn't go deep into games very often, so there's that concern. But
the Dodgers seem to have a
short leash.
Pretty short hook.
Yeah,
they can afford to though. They've got a nice little pen.
Absolutely. So
that's a very good point. Whoever put that out there.
If he can get 6 innings, he'll be in line for the win, hopefully. So I can get behind it. But I think it's a GPP play to get away from Cahill's ownership.
I like it.
We mentioned the Dodger stack, obviously. But on the flip, though, against the lefty, we've seen what Pittsburgh can do in this 1 through 3 man, Harrison, Mercer, and McCutcheon. Not my favorite place to attack. So again, it's why it's a GPP contrarian play.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about what they've done versus lefties before. Adam Conley, bam. I'm not saying that Adam Conley is Alex Wood, but these guys hit lefties well.
It's true. Yeah, no, seriously. That's what I'm saying. That 1 through 3 is interesting, man. I agree. was actually looking to see where McCutchen was priced at today. 4,000. Very, very nice price for McCutchen today. It's a $400 price dip, actually. So, see what happens. I'm left with 4,400 with an outfield spot, and I don't really know where to go. So he might be the guy I go with.
Yeah, I can see it. All right, so give me your top 3 pitchers, point to price as always.
Okie doke.
Let's do that thing.
That thing, huh? I'm gonna go. Man, I don't know. I like DeGrom and Carnes, and my third pitcher. It's tough, man. I think I'm gonna go with. I don't know. It's gonna be another of these top tier guys between. I think I'm gonna go Gio.
All right. For me, Carlos Martinez, Nate Carnes, Gio Gonzalez.
Yeah. Yep, but I'm really interested in playing Stroman today now that we talked about him.
I'm telling you, man, I think it's going to be really contrarian to do Gio and Stroman in DK. You got to make an honorary.
Or Stroman and Martinez.
You should do an honorary free contest on DK or a quarter game just for me, so you can put in that lineup. Because I don't want to.
Just for you.
I don't want to deposit $1 on DK just to do it.
What thoughts on your boy Bryce with this groin thing? Is he out of play because of it?
I'm not saying he's out of play, but I'm not gonna. He's the most expensive batter on the slate, and I don't know if I really want to go there. Not with any injury concerns. You know what happens if if they take him out early, or you know what I mean?
Definitely. I can definitely see it, man. All right, well, I got $600 left on the table. I like my lineup here. I went with Stroman and Gonzalez just for you.
Okay, there you go. What about your favorite stacks? Give me your 3 favorite stacks, obviously.
Yeah, I like that Cardinals call with those 3 right-handed bats. I'm not going to say the Dodgers because I think it's a little obvious, but could get behind. I like Oakland a lot. We talked about that 1 through 3. Really cheap way to pay up at pitcher on DraftKings to go those guys. But again, I don't know. I like the Dodgers. Let's see, who's the third one that I like? Yeah, I'll just go with that. I'll just go Dodgers, Oakland, and St. Louis.
Damn you, Mike. Is that
where you're at?
Yep, same 3. But if that's any reassurance, we're on the same exact stack. So,
yeah, I don't have a 3-man though. I have 3 2-man stacks.
I have 2 3-man stacks in Oakland and Dodgers, and then I have Tommy Pham as a one-off and Gary Sanchez as a one-off.
I'm struggling between Seager and Diaz right now at shortstop.
Seager and Diaz. I go Seager.
Yeah, so I went Bellinger and Seager over Jorko and Diaz.
I like that call.
But I might just have Jorko in as a one-off.
Jose asked,
and
any national love? I like the national stack. I do. It's just not my favorite. Like I said, I don't know. I just like those. Something draws me. I gotta roll with my gut. The Nationals project extremely well. Like I said, I like Defoe, Harper, Zimmerman, Murphy. If you want to make that stack, you can get really, really contrarian and play Adam Lind if you want to fade Zimmerman. But there's a national stack to be made, absolutely. Especially if you pay down at pitcher. It's really easy to get in. But with Carlos Martinez as my pitcher, it's harder to do it. And so naturally, I'm just going to go to the A's and Doyers.
Cha.
Bam.
Grichuk.
I love Grichuk today, man. That's a one-off.
Grichuk or Bellinger?
Bellinger. I don't think you fade Bellinger, who is hot as can be right now.
Bellinger, Chris Davis.
Ah, that's hard.
Yeah, I have both.
What's the price?
It's 38 for Davis, 36 for Bellinger.
If you need that extra 200, then I have zero problem going to Bellinger.
Yeah, I don't.
But, I think I still go Bellinger. It depends completely on your lineup construction. But if I had to pick a one-off, I think I go Bellinger. He's batting cleanup in an offense that I think is a little hotter. And Bellinger as a player is also hotter. So, plus Dodger Stadium is more friendly than Oakland in terms of at least lefties in Dodger Stadium. Schimpf or Turner?
All right, second base. Who do you like?
Second base, I have Adam Rosales. He's still mad.
Right now I have Jed Larry.
Okay, that's fair.
I have Lowry and Davis. It's a two-man.
Yeah.
2-3.
Captain Jenks asked Schimpf or Turner. Turner, is Schimpf third base eligible or something?
He's only third base on DraftKings.
What? Okay. I go Turner. I mean, Schimpf is home run or nothing, so you kind of get that. Turner is more...
Turner fits more of a stack.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, let's see. Where's Turner's price on DK? So, would you rather go Jorko or Turner?
Depends on your stack, honestly. I went Turner.
So, who'd be the... I have Seager and Bellinger, so it'd fit the stack, but I was going to go Jorko as a one-off. Should I just stick with the stack? Probably.
I would stick with the stack, personally. Would you leave Harper out of the Nats stack, and who would you put to replace? Well, I mean, you can't really straight replace Bryce Harper because Trout's not in the lineup, so there's no really, price comparable guy. I personally am leaving Bryce out, but if you do that, you're going to have room to pay up elsewhere, so I don't think you can really make a straight swap. You're going to have to find someone else or pay down, and then it gives you flexibility elsewhere, obviously.
Yeah, so I can get to Rendon if I wanted to. Third base.
I do like Rendon. By the way, just got some sharp action, Mike.
Cool.
Giants and Mets under. Chicago, Colorado under. So maybe some Arrieta love. Dodgers, I don't think that's any surprise. Orioles are favored to win. They're getting a lot of action. Does that take you off Gio?
Yeah, dude. I was already kind of worried about him playing the Orioles.
Extremely interesting. A lot of numbers don't back up the Orioles, but I trust Vegas, man. And then this game is also projecting to be over. There's a lot of action on the game going over. So maybe I fade Gio. Well, I don't have Gio anyway. I have Carlos Martinez, but that kind of takes me off Gio Gonzalez, man, as a play.
Maybe I go up to Martinez from Gio.
Yep. I love Martinez today, dude. I really do.
I don't know. Again, it's such a GPP play, in my opinion.
100%.
I don't feel very comfortable about Martinez or Stroman. So, we'll see what happens. Super GPP-ish. For sure.
Top shortstop on the slate. I think I go Corey Seager, my friend.
Yeah, we were talking about that. I was like, Seager, Ledmus Diaz. Those are the two guys I'm looking at. Those are the two guys I'm looking at. I can't get to Gio. I can go up to Tanaka. I don't really want to do that. I can't get up to Martinez from Gio without really screwing up my lineup.
That's going to be a tough move.
So, whatever. Just have to stick with it.
I feel it. All right, well, I just want to give, as we wrap up, thank you guys. We have jumped over 100 subscribers in one day, Mike. One day.
Welcome to all the new people. Yeah, so I guess if you guys want to know more about what we do, this is the tip of the iceberg, man. This is like me and Kyle come to the surface of the ocean an hour for every day, and then we dive back down and start figuring out how how to eat some sharks.
You're solidifying your place as Mike Hasselhoff right now.
I mean, I'm a fish, man. So that's what I'm saying. I come to the surface, I bask in the sun, we talk about baseball, and I dive back down and
I don't know, man.
strategize.
You need to get some more sun.
That's true. An hour a day is not cutting it, is it?
But yeah, huge shout out to obviously Ant and Jay doing their NASCAR thing. Those shows are hilarious. Even if you don't play NASCAR, just watch the show for the entertainment factor. They'll have you laughing. And
For sure.
we have some really, really good things coming. Look for us. If you aren't following us on Twitter, make sure you are. Starting Wednesday, we are going to be releasing polls, one a day, with a range of questions that you want answered. And how it's going to work is we have a new show segment coming up called Anything But Ordinary. And it's going to feature Theo and I. We felt that title very much represented us. So every Wednesday, for the most part, schedules permitting, obviously, we'll be doing almost a debate show with Theo and I. So every day we'll have 6 topics to cover, obviously. So starting Wednesday, we'll release it. We'll go up until Tuesday, and then that Wednesday we'll cover the 6 topics that were covered. So look for those polls on Wednesday. We'll get those out. Each day the highest voted one will be that topic, one of the 6 topics we cover.
Yeah, just to keep things a little bit more interesting and not just, especially in baseball season when everything is so like
numbers driven and
spreadsheets and dry, exactly. So we're trying to get some fun stuff out there. Definitely a lot of things in the works. I do need to shout out our segment 1 winners for the free contest. So we have 2 people that have qualified for the championship in baseball. Man, I think it was Gold Ninja, man, ran away with it on DraftKings. Again, there's a multiplier. So if you're coming top 10 day after day, your points are getting multiplied. So that's how he ran away with it. And then on FanDuel, it was Z Bailey Bop. Who's been rocking with us for a while. Both these guys have been rocking with us for us a while. So not only congrats, but thank you guys for being a phenom and for what you guys do for this community. So congrats, and tonight's slate will start a new segment.
Yes, sir.
If you guys want more info about joining a free contest to figure out, maybe get started in playing DraftKings, I was talking to one of our people today that was using our free contest to figure out how to play MLB DFS on FanDuel. And he realized that he was doing well, and so now he's decided he's going to put some money into this FanDuel account. So that's the perfect way to use these contests.
Practice.
Just as a practice, exactly.
As always, it's free to join for everyone. We release those links on Twitter, but only subscribed members are eligible to win the prizes at the end of the year. So,
right.
Or to accrue points for that is.
Right.
So just make note of that. Also, starting on Sunday, the sheets will no longer be mailed out. They will only be released in Slack. There have been exploits that have been found, and Slack is the more secure way to go about this, so that's the route we're going to take. So if you're not in Slack already, and you're on the email list, make sure you get in Slack. Everyone on there has an invite. I can resend them if needed.
And again, it's just for the time being. I mean, it's all going to be on our website soon. Exactly. Soon enough.
Exactly.
I promise.
Once that
just for the
time
being.
Once that website is up, everything's going to be beautiful. Mike's
the number one priority.
Yep.
The number one priority right now is making it for you guys. So it's exciting stuff, man. It really is.
Absolutely.
If you want to be a phenom, hit us up. 7-day free trial, 24/7 DFS chat. You can one-on-one bash me or Kyle if you want. It's great. It's really great. Kyle gets the brunt of it most of the time, but
absolutely. So does Ho-Ho. Ho-Ho's the target in there.
He's an easy one. He's an easy target.
He really is. He's a Yankees fan too, so it's more fun.
We love you, bro.
Well, Mike speaks for himself there. But
yeah, join the fun, man. It's a great supplement. I'm telling you, it's a great supplement to this hobby. If you just play $5-10, get in there and start talking to some people. Everybody else in there is the same way. It's a lot of fun. It really is.
Exactly. It's always entertainment. So
it is.
All right. Well, thank you guys again. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Good luck. Stay profitable. We will let you know how these pitcher projections work, and if they are proved true, our theories. Look forward to tomorrow. Beta comes out. So we will talk to you guys shortly. Have a wonderful day, and good luck.